Hi, my name is Gil. I am a male. 34 years old. I think about 180 meters tall, 1.8, and 71 kilograms. So what do I love about my body? I like being tall. I like being fairly slim, but not too slim. I like that I don't have to worry about what I eat because I don't gain weight very easily. I like that I have long fingers. And I like, overall, I like my body even though I don't think it's perfect, but I do like it. How do I feel about my body size? I feel better now. I think I used to be very skinny, and that bothered me because I thought that was a negative thing in terms of, I guess, how the opposite sex saw me. So currently, I like my size. I like that I'm, I guess, athletically built, skinny, but strong and skinny. So it's important for me to. It was important for me to kind of build my strength, um, and not kind of just be skinny. Yes, it's a good question. How the media has shaped my body image. Um, as I said earlier, I felt quite uncomfortable being quite skinny when I was young, and probably because of the media, I kind of internalized um, these beliefs or these cultural ideas that being skinny was not a good thing in terms of attraction and what kind of the typical man or the an attractive man looked like. So yeah, I believe the media probably had quite a bit to do with me wanting to not be that skinny and become stronger.
Do you remember like one of your first experiences of kind of comparing your body to what you saw in the media?
Mm. Yeah. So, do I remember what first impacted my perception of my body from the media? Um, I think and I can't.
That's okay.
Yeah, I can't.
That's cool. Um, what do you do to soothe yourself when you feel stressed?
To soothe myself.
Yeah, to self-soothe.
That's a big question. So, what do I do to soothe myself? Well, um, so personally, meditation has been a very, very powerful, I guess, tool for me to help manage my emotions. Um, so over the years, through my meditation practice, I've developed the habit of leaning into the emotion as opposed to leaning away from it. And even though that may be a bit more painful initially, I found that doing so really helped soothe my emotions, my nervous system a lot faster than if I stepped away and distracted myself or so meditation practice coming kind of dropping into the body, feeling the sensations in my body that are uncomfortable, leaning into those sensations, understanding they're changing, they won't last forever, and knowing that kind of helps me keep myself balanced and stable. Apart from that, yeah, speaking to the people who are close to me in my life, so my family, my mum, my close friends. I often speak to them as a way of kind of helping me make sense of what I'm going through and allowing me to kind of vent and express myself. Apart from that, exercise sometimes, good jog, good intense jog, really intense run, and music. So I've got a few songs that kind of my ritualistic songs that I play whenever I'm feeling, it's quite rare, but if I'm feeling very, very down, I've got 2 songs that I like to play. Massive Attack, Teardrop, and a less popular song by a band called Tiny Vipers. It's called Life on Earth. You should check it out. It's the saddest and most beautiful song that's ever made.
Massive. Will you just go into it? It's great. You're doing really well.
You should have prompted me. What songs?
Yeah, I was going to leave it at that this time, but you were just like,
That's too much.
It's like we were on a date and you just like kept going.
I know, but
I think you did, that's amazing, I love it. You did really good. Thumbs up.
thanks
Thumbs
for
up.
validating me. Thank you. So how do I feel when I look at the mirror? Yeah, I'd say it's mixed. Depends on the lighting in the mirror where I'm looking at. I guess as I've become older, I have become more self-conscious about different things in my face. So I guess, circles under my eyes. That's kind of where my eyes first go to when I look at the mirror. And yeah, it's something that I guess I'm conscious of. But apart from that, overall I feel fairly positive when I look in the mirror. Yeah, I feel reasonably positive. But I guess, the perfectionistic part of me always picks out, areas of imperfection. Yeah, for example, like I mentioned, eyes and my nose, I guess I have a Jewish heritage, and part of that often comes we're endowed with healthy noses. So that's something that sometimes I'm aware of, but I'm kind of at peace with that. It's just interesting that my mind often kind of focuses on the negative as opposed to the positive.
That's very human. Although, I don't know if maybe I'm narcissistic, but I whenever I look at them, I'm like, good guy,
Right.
Like I look at him like, yeah. But then, of course, there's things I'm like, oh, I think that's the biggest thing for me is like I'll feel like, oh, I look good today or don't look good today based on like how bloated or not bloated I am.
Yeah, so we all have different. We all have different.
Like if I'm not bloated, I'm like, damn, girl. Like.
So you see yourself, but in chest and tummy.
In my tummy,
right.
Like if I eat the wrong things.
I don't even know what I look like if I'm bloated or not. But yeah, it's just we have different areas.
Me, like I'm so allergic to certain things.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Like it really, and like if I have any dairy, like my whole face will puff off. Like,
right.
Like my whole body gets all like, inflamed.
Yeah, sure.
That look less good in the mirror.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So everyone's got their things.
Yeah.
Also, if I'm having a good hair day, I feel really good about
Yeah. Hair's a tricky one. Yeah, it's true.
Do you think the way you feel in your body impacts the way people respond to you?
So do I think the way I feel in my body impacts how people respond to me? Yes, I think so. I'm listening to an audiobook that has one chapter which is Stand Up Straight, talking about the evolutionary kind of impact of confidence and kind of confident body language and how that impacts how people are drawn or repelled from you. So I think over the years I've developed kind of a comfort in my own skin that is partly based on my physical body, but more so is based on my own emotional and kind of spiritual comfort in myself. So I think how that manifests is through standing upright, with a good posture and feeling present when I'm walking. And so I'm aware of that. Sometimes I think it's unconscious as well, but I'm often aware of standing up straight when I'm walking, and just feeling feeling kind of a humble confidence, if that makes sense. So, and how that impacts others, I think, well, I don't know, I haven't really asked others how they respond to my body language, but all I can say is when I see other people who are walking with a good posture and, who carry themselves with a sense of dignity, that makes me feel drawn to them. Obviously up to a point. If it's too much, it can come across as, arrogant and narcissistic, so there's limits. But I think overall people relate to me positively, I feel, because of the way I carry myself.
You did good. If you're going to fidget around, get it out.
I didn't. Huh?
I said if you need to fidget around.
Oh, no, I like
you
that.
go crack on.
I enjoy this.
So next question. Do you ever compare your current body to a previous version of itself?
So do I ever compare my current body to a previous version of myself? Yes. So, we're all aging, but and as I enter my mid-30s, I'm noticing that I'm developing a bit of a pot belly. A very minor one, but I'm very conscious of it. And I do think back to the days where, maybe there wasn't a pot belly. It's not, may this pot belly be the worst of my problems in life. So I'm not really bothered by it that much, but I am aware that my body is very slowly and subtly changing as I age. So part of me embraces it, but a part of me also wants to work on that tummy.
Great. I'm like, especially during lockdown, I've been like looking heaps at old photos.
Right.
Because it's like, I like running, but not as much as I like swimming, dancing, and doing yoga.
Sure.
Which and working. I'm usually doing I have a very active lifestyle, and I'm not doing that at the moment. So there's only so many workouts and walks I can do.
Yeah.
So it's never going to be the same. I'm never going to have the abs and the
right.
the slenderness.
I could have added to that. Recently I was looking through albums and stuff. Should I add or should I?
Sure, yeah.
Should I say the question or just add? So, in addition to the question about whether I sometimes, miss my previous body or reflect my current body compared to my past body, I have recently looked at old photo albums of my youth traveling the world when I was 18, 19, and it's a strange thing where even though I'm aware that I looked very youthful in those photos and in those days, a part of me still feels youthful inside, so I don't feel like I've lost my essence. So that's comforting to know. And so that I think it kind of short circuits any kind of negative loop that I may get caught in about, reflecting and ruminating about, the good old days, because I feel deep down that I'm not my body. Deep down I'm something a lot deeper than that, and that's kind of unchanging.
We're constantly changing though. We're constantly changing and evolving.
Yeah, we are changing, but I think a part of us
stays the same.
Isn't
like the
changing.
Essence of us.
Yeah, the part of us that kind of is the observer, the kind of that silent witness behind everything. That's a very quiet part of us. Maybe the playful. Maybe I'm still very playful, I think, and I think maybe that makes me feel young at heart.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I don't think you're less playful than when I met you.
Thank you.
So, what do you expect of your body to feel confident in yourself?
So what do I expect of my body to feel confident in myself? Well, I would challenge that question. I'm not sure whether. I think how my body's relates to my confidence, but I also believe that my confidence can be irrespective of my physical body. But I guess first to answer the question, what do I expect of my body to feel confident? Well, I guess I expect it to have a degree of strength. I expect it to have a degree of being kind of slim. Having said that, if my body at any point was not slim, I still feel like deep down I would be confident, but maybe that would be a bit impacted by. I guess it's hard for me to answer because I've never not been slim. It's hard for me to actually imagine that. So, should I try it again? Can I answer that?
That's good.
It was a bit of a circular.
That's cool. I mean, if you have like a more concise
Yeah,
version of answering
it was a bit wordy.
It's alright.
Can I try again? Alright, so what do I expect of my body to feel confident? So I guess the first thing is, ultimately, I don't feel my confidence deep down is linked to my body, my physical body. I feel my confidence is much more linked to comfort in my own skin on a more emotional and spiritual level for me. Having said that, I'm aware that, let's say, if my body was, if I was maybe overweight and not healthy, I wonder whether that would impact my confidence. It probably would. So I think a healthy body, kind of having some degree of strength is important for confidence.
What if you were 5 kilos more or 10 kilos more? Like, you wouldn't be overweight, but you wouldn't be your slender normal self. Like, let's say your metabolism changed tomorrow.
Yeah, look, I mean, as I said,
let's say you've been used to something your whole life.
Yeah.
How would you feel if all of a sudden, your metabolism changed and it wasn't the same?
It depends where my body would change. So I'm quite sensitive to kind of, the classic stereotype of like a middle-aged man with a big tummy. That to me is like a kind of like a snapshot of the unhealthy aspects of like Western culture, and so that would make me feel I would put lots of effort to change that if that ever happened, because I feel like it's my responsibility to take care of my body and I think having, let's say, a large kind of pot belly is unhealthy. It's medically unhealthy. It increases your risk of various issues. So, but yeah, if my body was just a bit larger, I don't think it would, like overall larger, I don't think it would impact my confidence.
Do you mind if I ask you to say what you do for work?
Sure, yeah, so
for some references to a company.
Yeah, so I work as a doctor. I'm specialising to be a psychiatrist, so I'm 6 months away from being a psychiatrist. So yeah, I'm a psychiatry registrar is my formal title.
Alright, we're getting to the end. If you could go back in time and give your younger self any advice about your relationship to your body, what would it be?
So if I could go back in time and give advice to my younger self about my relationship with my body, what would it be? overall, I'm pretty comfortable with my body. I wouldn't change much.
Is that the advice you would give to your younger self?
Oh, um,
Were you feeling that way when you were younger? You said that you felt quite insecure about being skinny.
well, no, and I'm glad. I'm glad that I'm stronger now.
But do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you had to give advice to the insecurities and the anxieties that you might have had when you were younger, like what would you tell them to?
Yeah, my insecurities weren't that, like, they weren't so strong about my body, even though it was more just like I thought, I'd be more kind of appealing to the opposite sex if I wasn't that skinny. That's just what I was going through. I guess I was quite self-conscious with acne. I had quite bad acne when I was younger, in school, when I was a teenager, and I was very self-conscious about that, very self-conscious. So what advice would I give my younger self about that, for example? I guess it would be, get to know yourself. Get to know who you are beyond your body. And find a way to develop a deeper confidence in yourself based on exploring yourself, what you like, what you dislike, what gives you meaning, what's your purpose. That's what I would advise my younger self, to get to know myself earlier, and therefore kind of limit the impact of my body as defining who I am.
That's great. So, if you had a child, what ideals would you want to pass on to them in relationship to size and their body?
So if I was a father, what values and ideals would I pass to my children to help them have a healthy relationship with their body? Well, I guess number one, I would love to give them the felt sense that I kind of love them and accept them as they are. At the same time, I would like to also set an example of respecting your body, which means taking care of it, which means exercising and eating well, not so much because of the impacts on the body, but for its own sake. I want my kids to live a life well lived, and a part of a life well lived is having health, physical health. So that would be my number one value, and I think if they followed that, then as a result, the choices and decisions would lead to them having a healthy body. But yeah, I'd be very mindful to not, I guess, idealize or kind of romanticize various kind of mainstream images of beauty. Not that I would anyway, but I just know that's often a big issue for young people, growing with families who themselves are really unhelpful role models in highlighting that love and self-worth is dependent on their shape or size. That's a big kind of risk factor for people getting problems in that area.
Okay, so 2 more questions, or 3 more questions, okay? Are there any ways you wish you were kinder to your body?
Yes, definitely. So, are there any ways I wish I was kinder to my body? So, I think the biggest way I could be kinder to my body is to go to bed earlier at night, because I think that's the best thing you can do for your body and for your mind and for your spirit, for me. So early nights are something I struggle with, and I constantly have to find willpower and motivation to do. But when I do that, I feel so much more rested. I'm sure I look better, and I'm sure, and that gives me also time in the morning to go for a run, go for a swim in the beach, have a healthy lifestyle that I think reflects itself in my body and how I feel.
Do you think your parents or role models have given you ideas of what a good body is or looks like?
So have my parents given me values or ideas about what a good body looks like? I think to an extent. I think my mum, she's always been very comfortable with her body. She's been skinny most of her life, but now she's kind of a bit overweight as she's aged. She's very comfortable with herself. So not so much from my mum. My dad, he has a tendency to gain weight quite easily, so he's very self-conscious of his weight, and therefore exercises a lot and watches his diet very, very carefully. So yeah, I think in the past he maybe made comments that it would be good for me to maybe be a bit stronger or engage my body more physically. So those comments, I'm sure, have kind of infiltrated my belief system. And yeah, he's also very mindful about kind of pot belly and stuff like that. So that's probably also infiltrated my own thoughts and feelings.
Doing really well.
Thank you.
So this is the last question.
Okay.
Is there any last things you have to say about your relationship or ideas in regards to body image?
So, are there any last things I'd like to say about body image? Look, I think, like most things in life, it's a balanced approach and a middle path. And what I mean by that is that on one hand, I think it's really important to connect to a part of you that's deeper in your body and really understand yourself, on a more fundamental level, and be at peace with yourself emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. That's number one. But I think equally, I would also say that your body is a temple as well, so you need to kind of take care of it as well, and I guess respect it and make sure that the vehicle that you have in this life is taken care of, like you would take care of a nice place of worship, or a nice kind of even your own home. You have to make it a pleasant place to inhabit. So I think a balanced approach where you understand that you're not your body, but also respecting and taking care of it is what I would say. The end.
Actually, one last question.
Yeah.
Do you think that in any way, like, specific, just came up to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's anything like in the Jewish culture that like I feel like most cultures, or at least like Mediterranean cultures, like we're taught to eat a lot, or if you're not, you don't eat, then don't be too skinny, eat whatever.
Yeah, good. I wonder. Yeah.
Like I wonder, like, do you feel like that might have
Impacted.
any like impact on
Sure.
the way that
Do you want to repeat it? Right. So, do I think my Jewish Mediterranean background culture impacts how I relate to my body? Not overtly. My grandmas were, one of them was a very classic Polish grandma who would feed me a lot, but never commented on, whether I was skinny or fat. I know for some fathers that did happen, but in my experience, I don't think so. Even though Jewish culture is very food oriented, I don't think it had a prominent impact on my perceptions or feelings about my body.
What about your siblings? Your sisters?
In terms of Jewish impact in general.
Yeah, like you know your experience with your family and like
Right.
you know what was rewarded, what wasn't rewarded.
Yeah, I think my sisters were quite well manicured and kind of well groomed. So I think growing up, I was really aware of, they were plucking the eyebrows always and doing this. So yeah, I guess I was. That made me kind of attuned to possible kind of things in my body of my own facial features that might be perceived as imperfections. So I think that actually did prime me to kind of be a bit critical of like my face, I guess, but in the mirror. Yeah, yeah. I think siblings definitely had an impact. Yeah, for sure.
More than your parents?
Yeah.